This guy over here, we always know Peter because he was very, very good to us as a state representative, but now he's got a big job as sheriff of Middlesex County. So he's a very strong supporter of Deb Goldberg as well. As a matter of fact, he goes back quite a long way with Deb. So I'm very proud to announce that I'm supporting, along with Peter and Joe, Deb Goldberg. Now, Deb Goldberg has a wonderful background. You might know a little bit about her financial background. She was in the Stop and Shop companies for quite a while. She was also chairman of the Board of Selectmen in Brookline. She has a Harvard MBA, I think. So she's running for treasurer. Now, I just have a question to ask. Does anybody know what the treasurer does? She's going to tell you. She's going to tell you what the treasurer does. So, all about money. So I'm very happy to welcome you to Waltham, and we're here on behalf of supporting you, and we have lovely residents here, and I know that they're going to be attentive, but they have hard questions, so watch out.
How about a hand for Deb Goldberg?
The mayor alluded to the fact that I worked at Stop and Shop. But you want to know really the story about Stop and Shop. My mother's great-grandmother, and it was a woman, arrived with 11 kids to the north end of Boston. And she opened a tiny, tiny little grocery store. And every single friend and relative arrived was given a job and a roof over their heads. It was about economic stability and economic security, not just for her family, but for all the immigrant families that arrived. And those ladies together, she and her friends in the neighborhood, 16 of them, also created a home for the elderly right in the neighborhood. So working to help seniors, working to create economic stability and economic security aren't just buzzwords that you hear out of a politician during a campaign. Those are a personal mission of mine. I worked with my family. My grandfather worked there, my mom worked there, my dad worked there, and it was all about our families. Those families together from that little store built Stop and Shop. And it was 2-3 generations all working together at the same time, not just our family. A friend of mine today, he's head of the Firemen's Union in Brookline. 3 generations of his family worked at the Stop and Shop in Brookline. 8 members at one time in one store, because that's who we were. That's who we are today. We went through one of those Wall Street takeovers, and we were pushed out because we wouldn't fire our families. So I took my background in business. I took my background with my MBA from Harvard and my law degree from Boston College, but I took my real background, which were my family values, to the public sector, focusing first on issues facing women, children, and families. I was a young mother. I became the president of an adoption agency. My 2 kids are adopted. And today, at 22 and 24, they're the greatest thing in my life. We all know that. But I also turned to public service. And I ran for local office. And lo and behold, this tall, handsome guy was one of my supporters. His name is Peter Koutoujiian. And I learned how to take my background and take my skills and make it work in the public sector. And in Brookline, we saved hundreds of homes for the elderly. There'd been what we call expiring use properties, smack in the center of Coolidge Corner. And what that meant was years ago, there was funding for those, and people built them. But after 40 years, they could go market rate. What person on a fixed income could afford to buy that at market rate? So, being the great-granddaughter I was, and knowing how important this was to do, we put together the program and approached Hebrew Rehab, which is now Hebrew Senior Life. And we worked with them, and we put in the funding bridge funding, and we saved every one of those units, and people are living there today. And not only that, but Hebrew Senior Life has added some of the great things that you have here, like the exercise room and the library, and made it even better. Because I have those values. And so I'm very excited about this job. This is something, when I was asked to look at this, I said only two things. I have to be excited about the job, and I have to know I can make a difference in people's lives. That's who I am. That's what drives me. That's why I'm here today, and that's why I will always be here for everyone. So I really thank you for welcoming me here. I love this building. Seeing something like this really warms my heart, and the fact that all of you are here to welcome me makes it that much better. So thank you for having me. Any questions? I'm waiting for the tough ones.
What does the treasurer actually do? What would your job be?
So what this job is, which is really interesting, it really requires someone with my executive background that's known how to run different business models and who also had experience at the local level in government, where as chairman of the Board of Selectmen, which is our mayor, I had to do all these different things. Those of us who serve at the local level, we have to multitask because we're responsible for everybody. And so what the treasurer's office does is it does all the things around, all the taxpayer dollars that come in to the state around cash management and debt management, but also unclaimed properties, which all of you in here know about. I was thrilled that the unclaimed properties existed. Both my son and my father-in-law had unclaimed properties, and I found out about it because it was published. And unclaimed properties is there. Veterans benefits is there. The lottery, everybody knows the lottery. Alcoholic Beverage Commission is under the treasurer's office. So that's why I'm saying to you, someone who works at the treasurer's office should have a background in finance, should have a background in understanding legal issues, should have a background in management. Just coincidentally, I do. And I've held local elected office and learned how to take my private sector and my nonprofit world experience and learn how to be effective in government, which doesn't always happen. You see people from the private sector who say, gee, I'd like to serve in government, and then they come in and they really don't know how to get the job done, because it's very different. And so I had 6 years being responsible for my own community, Brookline, which is 60,000 people. It may only be in 8 little square miles, but it's a lot of people. And it's all different kinds of people. I mean, we have 87 languages at Brookline High School if you include the dialects. It's not exactly what you think of. And we go from extremely affluent people to homeless people, because we're surrounded 95% by Boston. So we do end up having a lot of urban issues, and we have a lot of suburban issues. So it's a really diverse community. In fact, someone once said to me, if you can learn how to run the town of Brookline, you can run anything. Because the politics go from people who are anti-tax to the most liberal that you've ever seen. We joke it's the communist state of Brookline over in parts of Brookline.